This is Steve Ridgel, and well, this is my little Jesus. Now, you're kind of freaking out a little bit, wondering what in the world is he going to talk about? I have a good friend who gave me this, and no, I don't really believe this is Jesus. I doubt Jesus really looked like this. No, I don't hold it up and worship it like it was Jesus. No, I don't even think people need a little Jesus. I think people need a lot of Jesus. So, all of those things I want to get out in the open right off. I don't believe it really looks like Jesus. I don't believe it's something you worship. And I think we need a lot of Jesus. But I'm going to tell you why I like my little Jesus. Every morning when I get up and I walk in my closet, I've got it sitting up on my dresser, and I look at it, and my first thought is Jesus when I see it. Now, sometimes I wake up and I've already prayed and we're getting ready to do our Bible reading, but I like anything I look at that makes me think about Jesus. So it could be a little Jesus like this. It could be a cross on a necklace. It could be a cross tattooed on your inside of your arm. It could be crosses hanging on the wall. It could be anything that kind of reminds you of whose you are and who you belong to. I think those are really good. And when I look at this, I'm reminded that I'm not going to get through my day without Jesus. And I even say sometimes, boy, I need a little Jesus. And I know I need lots of Jesus. He's everything. But it's kind of a colloquial phrase that just reminds me, yep, today I'm going to need some Jesus. And so I like those kind of things. Some people get all offended and say, oh no, a Christian can't. Well, if I said this is Jesus, I'd be worried. If I said, hey, we need to worship this like it's Jesus, I'd be concerned. I think probably if you try to convince me that's what Jesus looked like, I'd be bothered. But if you're telling me, hey, here's a little something that's kind of fun to hang on to and remind you about Jesus, remind you that you need Jesus, remind you that Jesus matters, just remind you of Jesus, well, I think that's a great idea. I do. So I'm not the guy if you want to say, hey, Christians shouldn't wear crosses. And yep, I get that too. Crosses weren't nice, smooth, polished. They're rough and hard. And yeah, the crosses on the wall, I get that. They're all smooth and polished and sometimes painted. I get that too. But I'm not hanging them up there to worship. I'm hanging them up there to remind me of what really matters. So I don't know what kind of things you have hanging around that remind you of stuff. I mean, I've got Bibles all over the house that remind me the Word of God matters. I don't worship them. It's not the original language because mine are all English translations because, well, I read English. That's what mine are, but they remind me of things that matter. So I don't know what you use, but I like my little Jesus because it helps remind me of what matters. This is Steve Ridgel, hoping you'll be reminded today of what matters to you.